Is there somebody in your family or that you're living with that just knows exactly what to say, to push your buttons, to elicit a intense response and trigger your emotions? If you're struggling with somebody and having these responses come up, I want to help you get to the root of it and get to what is really setting you off so you can do something about it, so you can have more agency over your emotional being, your emotional body, and so that you have some real practical ways that you can regulate yourself in the moment and also get support to heal the response of these triggers long term, so that when the same situation arises, the same person says the same thing, you actually have a different response. All right, so my name is Sarah Lynn Wayne, and I've been helping people for over 17 years heal their body, heal their beliefs, and their boundaries. And I want to help you today with figuring out how to get to the root of your emotional triggers and some really practical things you can do in the moment when they come up. So let's just explore this for a moment, because the cause of emotional triggers is obviously going to be widely different for everybody out there. But essentially, it's always coming from the past. Whatever is triggering you to have a response that is not using your full brain or your reasoning mind, where you feel like a shift in your body, your blood, your temperature, your heart rate, it's a message. It's telling you something. It's giving you a clue that either the situation itself is something that is not helpful, or it's giving you a clue that this might not be an interaction you want to have. It might not actually feel like a healthy interaction. So these responses are very present and valid. But sometimes it's a response that doesn't really match up to what the person's saying, or you're thinking to yourself, I should be able to handle this. I should be able to have a more chill response. Why am I getting so upset over this? Or if my kid is saying things to me and all of a sudden I want to lash back out or say something in a triggered response, we're not in our present state. We're not in our present frame of mind. And there's a piece of us in the past, a piece of us from an experience in the past, or many experiences, that is being activated because the past lives in our tissues and our cells. But the cool thing is, once you start to become conscious of this connection, you can do something about it. You start to become aware of what's actually pushing my buttons, what's bringing up these emotional triggers. And when you can start to see these situations and break them down, like actually step back after the scenario and say, what was that? What did he say? What was going on? Be evaluating what your situation has, what led up to the situation, what unfolded, because it's going to give you clues. One, to acknowledge that maybe you haven't taken care of yourself that day, you haven't slept enough, you haven't eaten enough, right? And our bodies just can break down if that's the case. Or if you're finding that it's just reminding you of what your mother used to say to you, or it's reminding you of how your dad treated you. And when you can go back and find, when's the first time you actually felt like this? When's the first time you can remember like getting that emotional response? That's the clue of actually where you want to release and heal. Many ways you can do that. I teach them and I take people through processes to integrate and heal the past traumas. And you don't have to always go look at it and bring it up and tell the story again. Sometimes there's part of that at play and you want to have that interaction with learning the lesson, but sometimes we just need to clear the junk and allow our systems to reset. So we want to consciously release that stuff, let it go, make sure we get the lesson, because if we don't have the lesson or the teaching from our past, it will repeat itself, no matter how many times we want to say we're done with it. Now, knowing that, I do want to give you some helpful ways that you can, in the moment, get into a better state so that you can have a better response. First one is breath. making sure that you come to the awareness of just, am I breathing? And in one of my last videos, I gave a breathing technique, which is taking 2 breaths in, and as you exhale, making a sound, letting out, that sound moves the energy. It actually allows anger to leave your body. The other thing that's very helpful in the moment is to actually hold your finger. Depending on the emotions you're feeling, you can hold different fingers. There's charts that will tell you, holding your thumb is for fear, holding your middle finger is for anxiety. What I do, sometimes you're not thinking about it, just hold a finger that feels best. Find a finger and just squeeze it with the other hand. A lot of the times my thumb is actually a great awareness for me to go, okay, I'm feeling something. My husband said something and I want to respond in a way that's not going to be helpful. So if I can actually touch my own body, sometimes I'll actually put my hand on my heart because it reminds me to connect to my heart, that I want my response to come from a place where I am connected to what is really true for me and is actually loving to express, even if it's hard. So that's another thing. And another practical way that may not always work when you're with somebody, but if you can leave the room, leave the situation, and just get into a place where you have some fresh air. Make sure you're outside. If you're already outside, then put your face facing the sun if that's possible. If that's not possible, then what I like to do is just breathe. Just breathe in the fresh air. But getting fresh air, or even just opening a window if you're in a closed room place, there's something about the movement that the air, the fresh air, does to help settle our nervous system. Sometimes we don't even realize we're just inside and that energy gets stagnant within the space that we're in. So I could go on and on about all different things you can do. I hope that you found this helpful. If you have, subscribe for more content like this and like this video and share it if you can. All right, thanks so much.